He dismantled the narrative and exposed the corruption lurking behind the scenes. The FBI's mysterious $50,000 payout, the unanswered questions, and the hidden truths are finally coming to light. You're about to witness a political scandal that could shake the system to its core. Don't blink.
Thank you, Chairman Grassley and Ranking Member Durbin, and every member of this committee. I'm grateful for the opportunity to testify in front of you today. First, please join me in remembering, as you said, Chairman Grassley, all the Jewish people who lost their lives in the October 7th attacks 2 years ago today. Also, please let's pray for all the hostages and the families of all of those individuals. They are a critical reminder of our central mission here at the Department of Justice, protecting the safety and security of the American people. That is why, even when the government is otherwise shut down because of the Democrats, the department's law enforcement officers and prosecutors are hard at work fighting crime, keeping our streets safe, and protecting you from the threats, foreign and domestic. When I was confirmed as the 87th Attorney General of the United States, I took office with two main goals: to end the weaponization of justice and return the department to its core mission of fighting violent crime. As to ending the weaponization of justice, we learned that former FBI secretly investigated you and your colleagues. Why? They wanted to take President Trump off the playing field. They were playing politics with law enforcement powers and will go down as a historic betrayal of public trust. This is the kind of conduct that shatters the American people's faith in our law enforcement system. We will work to earn that back every single day. We are returning to our core mission of fighting real crime. While there is more work to do, I believe in 8 short months, we have made tremendous progress towards those ends. Our federal surges in Washington, D.C. and Memphis are a perfect example of how the Department of Justice should operate. We created strong partnerships with local leadership, working hand in hand with both cities to send resources where they were needed most. The results speak for themselves. We have made more than 3,800 arrests here in Washington while seizing more than 365 illegal guns. In Memphis, we have already made more than 300 arrests and close to 80 illegal guns in just a week. We are replicating that tough-on-crime approach throughout this country. Under the leadership of Director Kash Patel, the FBI is doing outstanding investigative work to keep American people safe. The FBI just conducted a months-long operation called Summer Heat, which resulted in over 8,600 arrests from June to September. More than 6,500 arrests fell under the FBI's violent crime and gang program. Under the leadership of Administrator Terry Cole, the DEA has seized 47.9 million fentanyl pills and 4,500 kilos of fentanyl powder. That represents 370 million deadly doses. 370 million. The DEA is dismantling violent cartel drug trafficking networks across this country, including the seizure of nearly 470 million in criminal assets. Under the leadership of Gadi Saralta, our U.S. Marshals have been the tip of the spear on federal surges in protecting judges and elected officials. Our Marshals have arrested more than 51,000 fugitives nationwide since January 20th. Under the leadership of Acting Director Dan Driscoll, ATF has taken more than 23,000 illegal guns off our streets. 3,400 of those guns have been linked to trafficking between the U.S. and Mexico. My attorneys have done incredible work advancing President Trump's agenda and protecting the executive branch from judicial overreach. We've been sued more than 400 times since January 20th. Judges have issued more than 90 temporary restraining orders against us, more than the previous several administrations combined. Despite the unprecedented degree of activism we've seen from the lower courts, we have never ignored a court order. And why would we? We have secured a historic 22 victories at the Supreme Court alone, with more to come. Our civil rights attorneys are fighting discrimination and anti-Semitism. Our criminal attorneys are prosecuting violent criminals and foreign terrorists every single day. I look forward to continuing this work at the Department of Justice, and I look forward to testifying before you today. Thank you, Chairman.
What you just witnessed was not merely a heated exchange, but a deep dive into the underbelly of a scandal that threatens to shake the very foundations of our institutions. Senator Whitehouse, in his sharp questioning, asked one simple but incredibly important question. What happened to the $50,000 that the FBI allegedly handed over in a paper bag to Mr. Homeman? Yet, despite the evasive responses and the countless attempts to deflect, the central question still remains unanswered. This isn't a matter of a single man and a cash payment. It is emblematic of a much larger issue, a systematic failure within the institutions we rely on to uphold justice and accountability. It's easy to get caught up in the narrative of money changing hands or the drama of political battles, but the real story here is far more significant. It's about accountability, something that should be non-negotiable in any democratic society. If the Department of Justice, the FBI, and high-ranking officials can avoid direct answers to straightforward questions under oath, what does that say about the state of our justice system? Why is the investigation into Mr. Homan's actions and the $50,000 payment left in such ambiguity, with important questions remaining unanswered? The public is being told half-truths and vague responses. But the American people deserve more than that. They deserve transparency. They deserve to know what happened to that $50,000. Was it ever returned to the government? Did Mr. Homan keep it? Did he declare it on his tax returns? These aren't just technicalities. They are fundamental questions of fairness, transparency, and proper governance. The failure to provide clear answers only deepens the mistrust between the public and the institutions that are meant to serve them. But the problem doesn't stop there. The evasiveness surrounding this single payment is part of a much broader issue. It's not just about the FBI's handling of one incident, it's about the pattern of corruption that stretches across multiple facets of government and society. As the Senate hearing drags on, it becomes glaringly obvious that certain individuals and groups, backed by their positions of power, seem to be untouchable. We see this reflected in the investigation, or lack thereof, into the suspicious activity surrounding Jeffrey Epstein's financial dealings. Hundreds of suspicious activity reports, SARs, involving Epstein's associates have surfaced. Yet the question remains, why was nothing done about them? Why did the authorities fail to investigate these reports, despite the obvious connections to a figure as notorious as Epstein? The victims in this case are not just the individuals caught up in these scandals, but the American people as a whole. These are not isolated incidents. They are part of a larger failure to ensure transparency and accountability in the highest echelons of power. The public has a right to know how their government operates, how their tax dollars are spent, and how justice is being upheld. When the government turns a blind eye to corruption and allows powerful individuals to escape scrutiny, it undermines the very trust that the American people place in their institutions. Senator Whitehouse's dogged pursuit of the truth and his refusal to accept vague answers should be commended. It takes a rare kind of determination to continue pressing for answers in the face of evasion and obfuscation. His actions highlight the systemic flaws within our government, flaws that are designed to protect the powerful and shield them from accountability. This is not just a political game. It's a matter of integrity and justice. How many more cases are being swept under the rug in the name of political expediency? How many more instances of corruption will be ignored because it's easier to look the other way? The real tragedy here is that these systemic failures have real consequences for the American people. It's easy to become disillusioned by the constant political bickering and media noise, but the damage done by these missteps is tangible. Whether it's the mishandling of funds, the failure to investigate suspicious financial activities, or the systemic corruption that goes unchallenged, the American people are the ones who bear the brunt of these failures. They are the ones who have to live with the consequences of these misdeeds, and yet they are the ones who are least likely to get the answers they deserve. Now, we have a choice. We can continue to let the powerful protect themselves, or we can demand change. We can continue to ignore the glaring issues within our system, or we can take a stand. This is not just a fight for justice. It's a fight for the future of our democracy. The truth must come out. No one, no matter how powerful, should be above the law. The American people have a right to hold their leaders accountable, and it's time we all start demanding answers. The status quo is not acceptable. We cannot afford to remain passive while these questions go unanswered. We must push for transparency. We must demand accountability, and we must ensure that this isn't just another scandal that fades away with time. This is our opportunity to reclaim our government and restore the integrity that has been lost. We have a duty to future generations to ensure that justice is not only done, but is seen to be done. So here's the call to action. It's time to take this fight to the next level. Share this video. Get the word out. Let's make sure these questions don't go unheard. Subscribe and stay loud. When the system fails the people, we must stand up and demand change. We cannot wait for someone else to do it. The power is in our hands to shape the future and ensure that justice is served, no matter who stands in the way. He dismantled the narrative and exposed the corruption lurking behind the scenes. The FBI's mysterious $50,000 payout, the unanswered questions, and the hidden truths are finally coming to light. You're about to witness a political scandal that could shake the system to its core. Don't blink.